Hi, I'm Zennin, and I just cycled around the world. What a crazy thing to say. 36,000 kilometers, 389 days. What a time. I've been pretty much glued to my bike since I was a kid. Grew up downtown Toronto, and it was the fastest way to dodge traffic, skip the streetcar, and make it to class half awake. Somehow that turned into riding across the Mediterranean, and suddenly around the whole world. Didn't really plan for it, but just kept pedaling. I started riding out of Portugal, down to Morocco and up the coast of Spain to France, then across Italy and the Balkans, all the way to Turkey. Cycling from Turkey to China, I followed the North Silk Road route, through Russia, around the Caspian Sea, and across the endless deserts of Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. In Central Asia, July and August can push the heat to 40, upwards of 50 degrees Celsius. You're sun-scorched, you're scanning for any scrap of shade, bone dry, and plotting your next possible water source. The sand seems to work its way into every crack of your bike. There's nowhere to properly shower, so the grime just builds up, and the days all blur together. It feels like nothing's changing out there, but then a few hundred kilometers later, you realize it actually has. Tajikistan, the mountains appear. Hundreds of cyclists flock there every year to ride the Pamir Highway. It's the most well-known bikepacking route in the region, and there's often more cyclists on the road than there are trucks and cars. You're riding along the border with Afghanistan and going through these little villages in the mountains. You're often invited into people's homes for tea, or often even a place to stay. Yeah. China was the longest stretch of the trip, 2 months and 6,000 kilometers, starting in Xinjiang, where the Uyghur people live. It was a sharp contrast to the chill vibe of Central Asia. There are military checkpoints, passport checks, and strict rules on where foreigners could sleep. Then came more deserts. First the Taklamakan, then the Gobi. I was lucky to start the Gobi off with a French cyclist, Mathieu, who I'd met by chance. It's not often you see cyclists out here, let alone foreigners, so anyone you meet has got some great stories to share on the bike. There's nothing out here. Nothing but hot sand. Two other cyclists who also happened to be from France joined for the last leg. We organized ourselves at a small general store on the second night to plan for the next 4 days and 450 kilometers of nothing. No water, food, or services, and hopefully some good weather. But
yeah, I'll try.
no, you have to try the wet piece. You have to try the wet piece here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But without your soup, it's gonna have a different flavor.
Après la poutine.
Poutine chinois.
On dirait que...
C'est vraiment bon.
C'est vrai?
C'est vrai.
Ah non.
C'est vraiment bon.
C'est vrai, il a raison.
I don't know, the bread is like a little sweet.
C'est dingue. J'ai du mal à y croire.
Woohoo!
I want to try this.
The rest of Xinjiang stretched out with cotton fields, endless wind and solar farms, and tiny quiet towns. Nothing like the big cities ahead. This part of China is off the usual map for most foreigners, and seeing the real lives of people you usually only hear about in the news, that felt really special. So wet, and my drivetrain sounds like a dry chain despite being so wet. Visibility 5 meters, 2 kilometers to the Lao border, and then hopefully into the sun. I spent a good chunk of the trip with a guy named Joe, a British cyclist grinding his way across Eurasia. After riding solo for so long, it felt good to have someone in it with me. We were both vegetarian, which somehow made it even easier. Same struggles, same weird meals. Egg, carrot, MSG, noodles. Just noodles.
Perfect on there.
Keep going. The last few weeks together through Indonesia, riding up volcanoes, getting sopping wet from monsoons, and half asleep thanks to the call to prayer echoing all night. It wasn't easy, but riding side by side made it all feel doable. We parted ways in Bali, tired and proud. I kept heading east and flew on to Australia. In Australia, I biked the east coast from Adelaide to Brisbane, riding the first stretch with my friend Morgan. Then I flew to New Zealand to bike the South and North Island from Queenstown to Auckland. You know these things are deadly?
Is it a black widow, do you think?
I don't know. You could Google lens it. It's kind of like pumping its back though. You see what it's doing with its leg? It's like pumping shit out. It's May 30th in the Saskatchewan prairies. The air quality index is hazardous. And yeah, I don't know, not ideal conditions. There's not much to see when it's not smoky, not much to see when it is smoky. My lunch table.
Yeah, here he is! Woo!
A lot of people say to me that they could never see themselves doing something like this, chasing some far off idea like biking around the world. And for me, it started with just an itch to bike the Silk Road and see what was out there. A thought that really I couldn't get away from. And little by little, that impossible felt doable. At the end of the day, there's this quiet satisfaction that you seem to be getting closer and closer to home.